All right, welcome back to the channel. Shawn Porter says that Terence Crawford is too smart, too skilled for Errol Spence Jr. I smell sour grapes, but let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. Another video about the welterweight division. We just going to keep it rolling, man, because that is my favorite weight class in boxing. Shawn Porter, who is the former IBF welterweight champion of the world and the former WBC welterweight champion of the world, who has fought Errol Spence Jr. and took an L, but he was in the ring with him, so he does understand and know what it is that Errol Spence Jr. has to offer in the ring, as good as anybody else does. And he gives his opinion about a fight between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is the IBF and the WBC champion. Terence Crawford is the WBO champion. And it is a fight that is I think it's one of the more highly anticipated fights in boxing. I think it's the highest quality fight of those type of fights that people are waiting for. You know, the other fights that are similar to that are Charlo versus Canelo, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 3, or Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, or Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, whatever those, three heavyweight, fights, whichever one of those happen. Those are highly anticipated fights as well. But I don't think any of those fights have the same level of skill associated with it that Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford does, nor the dynamic between the two. Then that these guys have styles that I think that will mesh together well and cannot possibly give you, anything but an exceptional fight. But the people differ as to who they think is going to win, and I think obviously that's a reasonable thing. Shawn Porter believes that it'll be Terence Crawford. And, other people believe that it's Errol Spence Jr. But the reasons that Shawn Porter gives for Terence Crawford being able to beat Errol Spence Jr., I mean, it's the standard reasons that other people have given. They believe that Terence Crawford has too many things in his tool bag and that he's too intelligent in the ring for Errol Spence Jr. to overcome him, and that Errol Spence Jr. is a straightforward fighter who doesn't have a lot of head movement, that is on, that is where exactly what it is he's trying to do. And as a result, Terence Crawford can make adjustments and do things in the middle of the fight, more options at his disposal than Errol Spence Jr. does. That's just the standard argument that people that support Terence Crawford in this fight make. Obviously, Shawn Porter is one of them. Now, personally, I think Shawn Porter, there's something else to this prediction from Shawn Porter. Or there could be. Let me say that way, because I don't want to, say that I know that that there's sour grapes. I know that there's sour grapes, but he could possibly think that way too. And that is obviously the source of the sour grapes is the fact that Errol Spence Jr. beat Shawn Porter, and Shawn Porter thinks that he actually won that fight. So when Shawn Porter is talking about Errol Spence Jr., talking about Terence Crawford, Shawn Porter believes that he beat Errol Spence Jr., that he was too smart and too slick and did too many things against Errol Spence Jr. And and I do believe he's projecting that onto Terence Crawford. Now, I would tell Shawn Porter that, well, if it is the case that is, part of what he is basing it off of, that he is a little bit off base with that, because Errol Spence Jr. did beat Shawn Porter. It was a close fight. I don't even really think it was a close fight. I think each of the rounds were close and closely contested, but I think that Errol Spence Jr. got the vast majority of the rounds over Shawn Porter, and that there were things that Shawn Porter was able to do, like spin off the ropes and do different things that were able to, get him moments where he looked good, where he got off the ropes, he switched up, turned Errol Spence Jr. onto the ropes, let his hands go. But every time that he did that, Errol Spence Jr. just bared down, went straight at him, and continued to beat him up. And I think the inside fight between the guys wasn't really close. But Shawn Porter did catch Errol Spence Jr. a lot with shots because Errol Spence Jr. was right there to be hit because that's what he wanted to do. After the Mikey Garcia fight, he said that he was just going back to bulldozing people. That next fight after Mikey Garcia was Shawn Porter. So he went on about and did what he said he was going to do, which was try to bowl Shawn Porter over. And I think that was a little more difficult than Errol Spence Jr. originally thought it was going to be. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Shawn Porter is just he's a very tough fighter. You know, he's short, he's stocky, he's strong. He likes the type of fight on the inside. He likes that type of grappling type, go to war type of fight. So, and this is something that Errol Spence Jr.'s trainer had said. Errol Spence Jr. took that fight to Shawn Porter in a way where he fought in a manner which was conducive to Shawn Porter using his strengths against Errol Spence Jr. So basically he fought Shawn Porter's fight and beat Shawn Porter in Shawn Porter's fight. Same thing happened with Errol Spence Jr. in the fight with Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia was supposed to be the better boxer, fighting from the outside, yada, yada, yada. Errol Spence Jr. wound up being the one that dominated the fight from the outside in a boxing match. So in between these two fights, he shows that he can do both. And he did both, and fought in both times he fought. Well, Mikey Garcia and Shawn Porter, he fought in a style where it complemented the guy that he was fighting against, and he was still able to win that fight. Now, but Shawn Porter believing that he was somehow, robbed or something like that. I just think Shawn is Shawn, it was close but no cigar type of thing. You know what I mean? Shawn Porter performed better than a lot of people thought he would perform. Not better than I thought he would perform because, like I said, leading up into that fight, Shawn Porter is a difficult fight. Now, I think this, as far as the Errol Spence Jr. Terence Crawford thing, I think it's the same thing. I think that if Errol Spence Jr. decides to fight in a way that, now it's harder to do that with Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford can both fight on the outside and he can fight and he likes to fight on the inside. I would hope what Errol Spence Jr. would do against Terence Crawford is just fight the fight that he believes is most effective to win, right? Same thing with Danny Garcia. I got a video coming up a little bit later talking about what Danny Garcia said about Errol Spence Jr. And my thought on this is, look, man, Danny, you're bugging. Errol Spence Jr., if he wants to, can beat Danny Garcia 12 rounds to nothing and make it a complete shutout and never be at risk of getting hit by that left hook. Because like he showed in Mikey Garcia fight and the Shawn Porter fight, he can fight both ways. I think the same thing applies to Terence Crawford. But Terence Crawford obviously is is a terrific fighter. I don't know though about the idea that Terence Crawford is going to outthink Errol Spence in the ring. I haven't seen anybody outthink Errol Spence Jr. in the ring. Shawn Porter didn't outthink him in the ring. Mikey Garcia didn't outthink him in the ring. Is there something that Shawn Porter believes that Terence Crawford is a significantly better fighter than he is? Right? So, I mean, he might be. I don't think he's significantly smarter, though, than Shawn Porter. I just think Shawn Porter has sour grapes about the fight. And really, he wanted to get the fight with Errol Spence Jr. is another aspect of it. Shawn Porter wanted to get a rematch with Errol Spence Jr., but that rematch is not forthcoming with Errol because Errol Spence Jr. has Danny Garcia lined up, Manny Pacquiao lined up, Terence Crawford lined up. So, Shawn Porter wanted to get that rematch. He wanted to get it quickly. But that's not going to happen. So maybe what Shawn Porter also was thinking, hey, is that he wants to get a fight with Crawford. And he feels like, hey, Crawford is the better. If Crawford is a more realistic opponent for me in the future, and I think that he is. And I definitely hope Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford get it in. But since that's a more realistic direction for him, and I think, forget who else he said he was looking to fight, that might also be a case of, pubbing up a guy that he might necessarily be in a fight with, saying, oh, well, if I fight Terence Crawford, I'm really fighting the best welterweight. And if he beats Terence Crawford in the fight, then he can argue that he's the best welterweight. I certainly hope that's the reason. And I mean, obviously, he could also just think that just because that's how he sees the fight play off. But anyway, I thought it was an interesting conversation. Can't wait to see either Shawn Porter. I would love to see Shawn Porter fight Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford fight Errol Spence Jr. We already saw the Spence Porter fight, so we know what that is. Hopefully, though, like the old days, we can get to see it again. But anyway, you let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.